Hello guys, it's me Matrix here, coach of the Welsh Wailords, bringing you a new season of the VDL. We are back with season 11. I'm here, I am ready to fight and hopefully get a much deserved title that we have been fighting for a couple of years now. So VDL's been on a bit of a hiatus, but we're back. We think the last time we played was maybe a year or so ago now in the crew battles back in Season X or Season 10. But we have restarted. We have got another 24 player draft going on. And yeah, I thought I'd just hop on, give a bit of a thought on what I feel my team is like after the first 24 player draft we've held in Scarlet and Violet. So it's an interesting one. The tier list is a little bit wacky, I think you could say. Like, there's a lot of mistiered or very high valued mons through the tier list, but this is by nature of the tier list. When designing it, it was meant to be that you could feel like you had options in every tier. We had to try and spread the selection pool quite thinly, so like we wanted to make sure that the power levels were felt through all the tiers, because it's a 24 player draft. That's a lot of Pokemon getting drafted, and you want to make sure that everyone has options available to them. But that's besides the point. Here today we are going to talk about my team. We are, I think, the 7th coach in the draft order. So that's in a snake style draft. You start at the top, circle back round, and yeah, 1 through 24, 24 back to 1. And when it got to us, we decided to go with Blood Moon Ursaluna. I mean, a couple powerful mons had already gone, the likes of Iron Hands and such, and we picked Ursaluna. I've used base form a fair amount of times in draft. The base form is just so good, and I felt like the only time I've ever used Blood Moon was in a mono ground type team back in the SPF's monotype draft league. So we thought it'd be pretty fun to run it this time. I mean, it's known quite widely in my my close knit friend group that I get really frustrated about facing Blood Moon Ursaluna. It's such a powerful Pokemon, so I thought, why face it when I can just have it this season? It's got some really powerful sets. Its ability is kind of broken. It makes it so hard to switch in on, and I thought if we can start off strong with a Pokemon that's quite, in my opinion, versatile in the fact that it can fit onto any team, even if its sets aren't very varied, it gives us a good starting point. You don't know where this draft's going to take you. There's 23 other players, and by the time you come back to your second pick, a load of mons might have already been taken. So that's our S tier pick. You only get one of those. We got 2 A tiers. First off, we got Primarina. I got Primarina because I find it quite reliable. Like, it's one of my go-to water types that I really like. I often find myself also wanting like a good fairy type, and I never seem to be able to get them. So we decided to go with Prim to get that fairy coverage for me, to get that water type coverage. It's quite defensive, but also very offensive. It's really adds to this bulky core that I want to make. Yes, it does share a weakness with Ursaluna, but that's okay. And it does share a little bit of a niche with the fact that they are both like throat spray hyper voice users, although for different types. I just wanted something reliable. I didn't really want to run Azumarill again. I find that I always run Azumarill as when I want a water fairy type, and Primarina is often always gone, but it was still on the board when I came to pick. And it wasn't even my second choice. I think it was my third pick of the draft, and I really enjoy it. I think there's going to be some good things. I think you can get some really cool sets going, especially paired with Ceruledge, which we'll get into in a second. But yeah, there's that's it's Primarina, so reliable. I used it recently to help me win a Rocket League draft league. So yeah. Moving on from Primarina, we have Salamence. Salamence was a very late pickup in the draft. I figured that I was gonna go multiple B tiers and not go for a second A tier, but like as the draft progressed, I'd already picked up two of my other B tier Pokemon, and like I found myself looking through the B tier and the C tier and just not really being satisfied with what I could get. I felt like I could get Galarian Slowking in place of Reuniclus, and so that looked good, but then everything I paired with it just wasn't seeming to gel with what I wanted to, like, with the team. And so I ended up going with the Salamence. With the Reuniclus instead. I felt like that pairing gave me more than what just getting Galarian Slowking would get me. So we got Salamence. It's a very good Intimidate Mon, very bulky, just save for its typing. But that's cured simply by just having free Terra in this league. Like any Pokemon can Terra, but you just have to give your Terra sheet information prior to the match. So yeah, Salamence is really good. You can run it with Intimidate or Moxie. It's got Breaking Swipe, it's got Tailwind, it's got special sets, it's got physical sets, and I felt like it was a really good glue piece to the team that I was sorely missing otherwise. Also, it's a pseudo. It's got some good stats. Base 100 speed, really filled in a niche. So yeah, we move on to the B tiers, of which we ended up getting, I believe, 3 B tiers, which is Cerulege, Meowscarada, and Illumise. So as you can see, I've already got like some special offense in Ursaluna and Primarina, so I thought it was very important to get Cerulege for that physical offense, and just the combination of Ursaluna, Primarina, and Cerulege is already offensively really strong, yet very bulky, that they can survive multiple hits. So they don't need to be the fastest mons in the world, but they can hit hard and absorb the attacks. I really like that Prim and Ursaluna can both pair with Cerulege with its secondary ability, which is Weak Armor, and you can go for some really cool Weak Armor strategies with the Bitter Blade and the Weakness policy with like Aqua Jet or Vacuum Wave off those two mons, depending on what Terra types I go for. But also like just Flash Fire is a really good neutral ability to allow me to like go Terra Grass, remove some weaknesses, and just really start hitting hard. It's a really hard mon to take care of, and it gives my team some much needed physical offense. The Meowscarada was a fun pick. I've never used Meowscarada and I've always wanted to, so I'm really glad I got to find a team where I feel it suits really well. It gives me that 125 base speed, which is really nice for my team, as you can see. Ursaluna, Prim, Cerulege are all pretty slow. You got that base, 55, 60 for Ursaluna, base 60 for Primarina, and 85 for Cerulege. So like that 123 speed is much appreciated. Protean is so good. It gives me such a variety on stab. Like it can be a pseudo fairy type, it could be a pseudo electric type with Thunder Punch, it's got stab U-turns, triple axles, and that's not including the fact that it's got a really good offensive grass moving Flower Trick and also access to knock off, Sucker Punch, Throat Chop, so very versatile, physically offensive mon, and just fast enough that means I'm not always relying on speed, my own speed control in order to get this speed advantage. Really good mon, really pleased with that pickup. But we move on to the glue piece, which is Illumise. I knew as soon as I picked up Blood Moon Ursaluna, I needed Prankster, and I needed it with Tailwind. And I felt like Illumise has the best synergy for Tailwind setter with Ursaluna, outside of maybe Whimsicott. And the reason for that is because of one, yeah, Prankster Tailwind, great, but it also gets some really good, unique combinations with like fake tears for Ursaluna to really maximize its damage output. Obviously it's got the helping hand, which is always nice, and that's not like Prankster exclusive, but it's a really good piece of really good tool to have. It's got the ability to Thunder Wave if I really need it to, but also Encore Lock my opponents. Like if they want to Encore in front of Ursaluna Blood Moon, where it's going for Blood Moons, if they want to go for Protects and stuff, I'm able to Encore Lock them. Another niche little interaction for Ursaluna and Illumise is like if I go for a Blood Moon with Ursaluna one turn, I can then go for Vacuum Wave the next turn, be slower than my Prankster Encore on the Illumise, and then Encore myself using the same priority as Vacuum Wave back into Blood Moon to give me a priority Blood Moon attack, which is pretty devastating, although it is a one-time use because I would have to swap Ursaluna out afterwards. I like having Illumise for Light Screen as well. It's got access to Struggle Bug, so really good at like special debuffing the opposing team. I don't know if I don't think it gets Charm, but like that's okay. I do suffer a little bit on the physical side, but then that's why we really appreciated picking up the Salamence later on, because it's got the Intimidate, the Breaking Swipes. So it's a really good piece there. But also it gives me Prankster Weather, and like Prankster Sunny Day for Ceruledge or Prankster Rain Dance for Primarina is just so useful to have, as well as offsetting the opposing team's weather, because like I think in my division there are like 3 rain teams, there's a snow team, so like just having that as an option is so valuable to me that I just love having it a Prankstermon, even if it is Illumise. Okay, so we'll move on to our C tiers, which are Pawmot, Reuniclus, and Magnezone. So I did double up on electric types. I wasn't the most pleased about that, but I really needed a fighting type with Fake Out because I don't have Fake Out, and I needed it to be pretty fast, and that really only left me with Pawmot as an option. At this point, I had a lot of special offense still, and I thought, okay, yeah, physical mon, a physical electric type is pretty fine. I was looking at Luxray at this point, and this was before Salamence for my electric type, which had Intimidate and a bit of bulk about it. But Pawmot offers a lot. Revival Blessing is always useful for me for like Ursaluna, getting that back. That's having a second go at Ursaluna is just great in itself. But then you also have Iron Fist boosted Mock Punches, which again compare with a few of the other weakness policy stuff if I run a more defensive Pawmot. But like Nuzzle, Electro Web, Fake Out, it's got all the Pikachu clone abilities, as well as being a fighting type, which is pretty good. And then Double Shock on top of that, like a 120 base power electric move that with Terra Electric is a bit of a explosive hit, to be honest. It's got Volt Switch, 105 speed, really enjoy that about it. And yeah, it's a really good fast support piece. It's also got Volt Absorb, and that's another ability immunity, like the Flash Fire that I've already got. So just adds to the team a little bit, to be honest. We then move to our Trick Room setter. So I had spoken about Galarian Slowking. I think Galarian Slowking is objectively the better Trick Room setter for this team because it's such a good switch with both Primarina and Ursaluna, being able to resist the grass type, being able to resist the quad resist fighting for Ursaluna. It's able to regenerate a switch around. So can Reuniclus, to be fair, but it's able to Chili Reception to pivot out after setting a Trick Room up, which Reuniclus doesn't have pivot moves, but it's also a Fairy Killer, which is nice. Like, not so much a true Fairy Killer, but like that Poison type is very valuable to have. The downside of it being is that it is weak to ground, which my team is already a little bit weak to with Ceruledge, Pawmot, and the 2 electric types. Then we do have the fact that I like the fact that Glow-King was also a switch into poison type moves for Prim, but honestly, Reuniclus for a tier cheaper and allow me to upgrade B tier to Salamence, that it's really not that much of a downgrade. Like, you still have really good offenses, so much so that I can use Arena Clutch less as an offensive Trick Room piece. Like, obviously it's able to set Trick Room itself and then become its own sweeper, like with the Magic Guard and Life Orb and stuff. But like, I quite like it being this mon where you invest fully into its bulk, don't need to invest too much into its special offense because it's got such a naturally high offensive stat, and just be a really good support piece that can also hit hard that you can't just ignore. Regenerator is also very good for like pivoting with Salamence and stuff for intimidate cycles and recovery. So yeah, really good piece there. Really happy with the Arena Class pick. Magnezone is a little bit more questionable because I've already got that Pawmot. I really needed a Steel type because I wasn't going for a Fairy type. A Fairy type because I didn't have a Poison type, and I felt like I was missing some key defensive capabilities that a Steel type offers, especially for Salamence. Salamence really wants a Steel type on the team because it's such perfect synergy with Salamance's weaknesses that Magnezone was the only C tier kind of left, to be honest. Magneton had just gone the round before in D tier, not round before, the pick before in D tier, and Copperage had already gone. I was really eyeing up Berserker down in D tier, but honestly, I'm not too dissatisfied with Magnezone. It is a trickier piece to add on. It is a little bit slow, but I did have the option to go for Skarmory, but I feel like if I need a Pokemon that can blow up a Fairy type, Magnezone's your mon. Like, it's got that 130 special attack, it's got decent bulk outside of the crippling ground weakness. It does have access to Sturdy, but also access to Analytic, which it's a slowish mon anyway. You're probably going to be moving last a lot of the time, and it just does a lot of damage. Its coverage isn't the best, but I can see it being a very good Terra candidate. Lastly, we got our D tiers. Now, we've got Furret. I knew I wanted Furret from like somewhere near the start, and it's not like I think it's amazingly good, and I think nearly every other Follow Me user is miles better, but I found having Furret in D tier, it's provides a lot for a D tier Pokemon. Like, you've got Follow Me, you've got Frisk, you've got Super Fang, you've got a base 95 speed, I think it is. You've got decent Gen 2 coverage, so like I know it's got access to like Play Rough, it's got access to a lot of like the elemental beams and stuff like that. Like, it's just a nice little rodenty normal type. It's actually my favorite rodent Pokemon. I love myself for it, and I think it could do a lot for me because I know it's very passive to lead Furret and Illumise, but like leading something like Furret plus Reuniclus, I know their item, and I'm able to go, okay, redirection, I've got Frisk up, I know what you're going with. It's got access to Sucker Punch as well, by the way, for the Ceruledge weakness policy again, just a whole other thing. So there's a lot of like inherent synergy to the team that's not quite visible as a mode, but they all do seem to like gel with each other pretty well. But yeah, like I was saying, I really appreciate Frisk. I think it's a really underrated ability, and I'm really glad I was able to position that onto my team, because just Frisk next to Salamence, Frisk next to Ursaluna, like it's just useful to know what your opponent is packing, especially when you're unsure what they're going to do. Are they going to go for the Choice Scarf set? Are they going to go for the Focus Sash set? Are they going to go for the Covert Cloak set? Again, that helps Pawmot out. I don't need to fake out the Pokemon holding the Covert Cloak because now I know it's there. So yeah, really good value. It was on nearly every draft plan I made from like round 4 onwards. So I was really glad to get that Pokemon. And then lastly, Bruxish. Now, I've not really got much to say about Bruxish. I've used it before on a mono water type team. I really like Dazzling. I think it's a really good ability. D tier, it offers a lot. It's got a secondary Trick Room setter. I know it's got like a base 90 odd speed, so it's not really the best Trick Room setter. It's a better Imprison Trick Room mon though, especially with the fact that it's got Dazzling. You can't be faked out. on my side of the field, and it also shuts down priority, which is nice. Other abilities include like Strong Jaw, which really helps its Psychic Fangs, and Wave Crash is already a strong move on it, so like it can be a good offensive piece as well. Though I'm not 100% sure how much I'll use it in that role. I do like it. I think it's a cool mon, and I think to round out the team where I was already pretty covered in every other aspect, like I already got my bulky offense, I've already got my fast physical offense, I've got the glue mons in Salamence and Illumise, I've got the fake out mon, I've got the trick room mon, I've got a frisk mon, like, and honestly, it's really hard to stop my team from doing what it wants, because I've got Prankster, I've got one of the fastest fake outs, I've got Frisk follow me, I've got bulky trick room, I've got incredibly high offensive pieces, and so like one of the only ways that they can really stop me sometimes is that fake out, and now Brooksish helps me mitigate that somewhat, especially on the weeks where I'm like, oh, I don't really know what to do with Illumise because I want to run Sash, I want to run Covert Cloak, I want to run Mental Herb, you know? This way, they can't go for Prankster Taunt, they can't go for Prankster Fake Out. It's really nice, really, really nice to have. So yeah, that's the team. I think it's a pretty strong team. It's one of my favourite VDL teams that I've ever drafted. I'm really excited to use it this season, and it should be fun. I do think there are places it can improve, and like if it was in a perfect world where you weren't facing off against 23 other players trying to also draft the best teams they can, I think I might have done a few things a little differently. I definitely wouldn't have tried to have all my special offense as slow as it is, and all my physical offense being as fast and frail as it is. Again, I think that's why I really, really valued having Salamence, because it gave me some faster speed with it being able to be a mixed mon. It can be physical, it can be special, and it can be just as effective as both. And it really does just glue the team together that little bit more than what, say, Galarian Slowking plus the Haxorus would have done, you know? So, yeah. All in all, really excited for the season. I'm excited that we're back. VDL, one of my favourite leagues I've ever played in. And yeah, here's to a good season. I wish everyone the best of luck, and I can't wait to see how everyone goes. Till next time, guys. Thanks for watching.